You used to play an elf, and now you are playing the human being. Is this a downgrade or upgrade?
Well, I think it depends who you ask, and if you're asking me, I guess. No, I mean, I love my human Philo. He's a very empathetic and kind of honest and straight shooting kind of guy with a lot of secrets. He's an interesting character to play. So in a way, whilst I don't get to fly like the fairies or live, eternally like elves, there's a lot for me to explore within this character, which I like.
Why do you think
So it's an upgrade.
I believe you.
I'm serious.
Yes. And why do you think you fit so well in this kind of genre?
Yeah, I think that I like my imagination and I like other people's imaginations. I started my career obviously with Lord of the Rings, so I'm familiar with the fantasy world. And when I read this script, I really felt that it was the first time I'd read something that I hadn't seen before. I mean, I'd read Lord of the Rings as a child, and this felt like a world that it was created from the imagination of our show creator, Travis Beacham, and it was unlike anything I'd ever seen or read, and I was excited by it. So, yeah, and I like fantasy. I like the idea of elevation and imagination.
The good fantasy or good sci-fi offers not only escape, but offer the social commentaries. So what do you think this show offers?
I hope it offers both of those things. I don't think that we really expect people to escape, but there is a really wonderful sort of noir detective story that people can get excited by. But I think what's really interesting is there is a wonderful social commentary on, the migrant refugee crisis, on race, on life with the other, as it were. We're seeing in the world today so many people who are, fleeing war-torn countries and homes, just like, the Fae folk in our show Carnival Row. They're leaving, under desperate circumstances and coming to the Berg. And we're able to, comment on that in a very interesting way, which is one of the things I like most about the show, actually.
Lastly, there are so many Japanese fans out there, and so could you share your favorite memory when you visit in Japan?
Yeah, I could. My very first trip to Japan was in early 2000s, and I went with the Hobbits. So I went with Billy Boyd and Dom Monaghan and Elijah Wood, and I think Sean Astin was there. And it was my first time in Japan, and I had this overwhelming feeling of being in a place that excited me and felt kind of like home. It was sort of future, and it felt like the future, but it felt like there was a wonderful culture, and I loved the food, and I loved like the little things, the little tiny things, and the shopping and the gadgets and the people and the food. It was a really, I almost felt it was crazy. There were so many beautiful fans who were so excited about us being there, which was really interesting because the movie had yet to come out. And it felt kind of like a welcoming party, which was really wonderful.
I hope you visit soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.